that's basically what you're doing when you're writing. You're vulnerable. It's in your head. It's a part of you. And that's the hardest part, is getting over letting people see it. But once they do that, they're not going to worry about who hates it, who loves it, because it's going to be real. And it's
first, I wanted Sarah to introduce herself to everybody so they could get to know her first.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sarahbear.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and we're going to be talking about, my writing and my inspirations.
So Sarahbear is obviously very humble and she's very sweet, and that's why we want her to be on the podcast with us, because Sarahbear was, the quiet and calm and angel voiced person that would always be in the boxes with us, right? And then one day she decides to tell us a little about herself, and then we hear that she's a writer and she likes to write, and we're like, what? Like, okay. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, I want to put Sarah on the podcast because that is great. Writing, a lot of people use writing as a way to release, emotion, feelings. So, when she had mentioned that, I was like, okay, yeah. So we have a few questions for Sarah. So there are like a few key points that we want to hit here in the podcast. Basically, it's going to be about Sarahbear and her writing and her passion for writing, how she even got into writing, and so much more. So let's start off. So let's go ahead and
The first question. Okay.
yeah, with the first question.
Sarah, what initially sparked your passion for writing?
Honestly, it just kind of fell into my lap. I mean, I did it for fun. I did it as a hobby when I was little. I mean, I could remember writing as young as 7, 8, and it was just little things here and there. I never really thought it was going to go anywhere. And, I expanded my vocabulary more, and the more I did that, the more I realized how much I enjoyed, writing. That's kind of how it started.
Wow. So even from like a really young age, you were like, oh yeah, let me start writing. Because let's say me at that age, yeah, I'm like playing with Dragon Ball Z toys and Power Ranger toys and stuff. And you over here probably writing novels and comic books, at 7 years old or whatever. So yeah, that's amazing.
The very first book I ever wrote, I was 9. I first wrote a book when I was 9 years old. It was age appropriate, but nonetheless, I still wrote one and illustrated it myself and stapled it together.
Wow. That's amazing.
Dude, yeah. At that age, yeah. Sorry. At that age, At that age, I wasn't like, I couldn't even, draw in between the lines in the coloring book. So yeah, Sarahbear, obviously you have something that a lot of people don't have. Now, Sarah, would you say like that when you were younger, because especially in today's age, it's very rare to see kids, grab a book or any of that, and when I saw that with my own children, when my son would, grab a book instead of grabbing his toys, it was very strange to me. It was something that I wasn't used to seeing. I was like, okay, cool. So, would you say that you were pretty bright and intelligent, or like very aware of like your surroundings, at that age? Or, because, at that age, you normally don't know yet things that you like to do. You're just discovering things, learning how to do things, So would you say that you were, I wouldn't say like different than most kids, or like, did you have friends? Did you find yourself to be more like by yourself and secluded?
For the most part, I had a couple friends. I wasn't very popular. I did know from a very young age that I was very like artistically inclined. I was very into music. I was all the arts. I just really enjoyed. I still played with toys and video games, and I did all of that stuff too. But I spent the majority of my time in a book or writing or coloring, drawing, things like that. It was easier for me to relate to people in books than it was when I was younger than people. I got bullied a lot in elementary school and middle school, and so it was really just a way for me to kind of escape that. I caught myself, making these characters that were kind of in the same position as I was, and they always ended up, happy in the end. And I found comfort in knowing that, at least my characters were okay.
Yeah, oh,
So,
that is deep. That is so deep, Sarah. I that is, and like I said, this is why I wanted Sarah Bear on the podcast because look at the way how she describes things. It's like I can feel what she's saying, you know?
Yes.
So that,
That's exactly what makes a beautiful writer, though, is when you can just use your words to project emotion like that. I just want to cut in here because Jen actually had a question for Sarahbear a bit earlier. She was wondering if you still have the book that you made when you were 9.
actually, my mom has it. Well, she had it. She had it all the way up until she passed away. So I'm not quite sure where that book is right now. It's in her stuff somewhere, but she did keep it. She was very proud of it. She would show it to everybody when they had, came over and stuff like that. And, she'd want me to read it to like the adults in my life and stuff like that. I mean, I was pretty proud of it too. I mean, it was, but,
that's so beautiful. Right. So, I'm sorry. I'm like,
Sarah, will you say that your parents or your mother was more involved or motivated you more to, read or have a passion in reading and writing?
honestly, no. I grew up with both of my parents, but neither one of them were really big readers or writers or anything like that. My dad really liked music, and I think that's what I got from him is the music and like songwriting stuff like that. But mostly it was just something that I got a hold of on my own and took off with it.
so getting so much love right now in the comments, Sarah. So we got Joker here saying, that's awesome. Jen saying, oh, I'm sorry about the loss of your mom. That's beautiful, though. And
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
your story is very beautiful. So Sarah, Miss Sarah Jane, you want to go with the next question?
I actually have a random question based off of what you said. I was just wondering, with your dad being musically inclined, so does that, are you also? Do you write your own? Are you a singer-songwriter at all? As well?
I wish I could sing as much as I love music. I want to sing. I can't sing at all, but I write songs. I've written songs. Nothing that's, been played on the radio. It's been more for me, but I've done that in poetry and things like that. So, but I love music. Music is therapy to me.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, we're always our worst critics, so just because you say you're not good at singing doesn't mean you're not.
Right. A little baby. So.
I could feel his emotion. I think you're going to be an amazing, I'm sure you'll be international one day because the way you speak and the way you write, it is beautiful.
Yeah, people don't understand that, it's a gift.
It is, yes.
To be able to talk like that and express yourself exactly how it is that you want people to understand you. There are a lot of people today, who have difficulty with it, where they have something in their mind and they want to express it. And it is the most difficult thing to do.
It's a frustration when you can't express it. Yes.
Exactly.
I still struggle with that. I mean, it's not always easy for me to communicate, but I try a lot. I try to express exactly how I'm feeling.
Do you ever feel like that? Because I felt imposter syndrome with the acting, the modeling, all that jazz. But would you say you feel that with your writing?
I do. It makes me nervous to have people read what I'm writing because it's so personal. It's very raw to me. It's like them let into my head, and it makes me nervous. It makes me. That was a big hurdle, is to just even let people get samples of things that I'm writing.
So would you say that that is a hurdle that you've been trying to get over, coming out of your shell and, maybe sharing more of your work, and maybe being a little bit more comfortable with people actually, reading your work and being familiar with your work? Would you say that that's something that you're experiencing right now, or would you say you've already gotten over that?
It's a process. It's not so much that I don't want people to see it. It's more back to the emotional, the attachment to what I'm writing. If I don't feel comfortable with the person, I don't want them to kind of to know me, I guess, or, know what's going on in my head.
Right. Yeah, because you're putting everything of yourself into your writing. And basically it's like a blueprint of your most deepest and darkest and, feelings that you have
Yes,
inside. So, yeah,
yes.
I totally understand what you mean. Like, yeah, you're like, all of
I
my
have,
personal stuff in
stepped out
there.
of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't always been easy for me. It was easier when I was a teenager. I more or less didn't really care if people read what I was writing or not. But like the older I got, the more the bigger the problems were, or the bigger the
I think that goes hand in
subject
hand.
matter was.
Like, the more you get out there, the more you get noticed. I think that goes hand in hand with, like, success, honestly. As much to us, it feels like a setback.
Yeah.
I feel like the more imposter syndrome you get, it just means, like, you're actually getting out there more. Because that fear, I find, grows more with the more, like, I get out there on social media.
Right.
Yes.
So I guess going actually more into your writing and your writing process, I was going to ask, like, can you like describe your writing process, or, if there's like certain things that you do to get ideas or to get inspired, for your writings?
Honestly, it's just life things. I can be watching TV and something, and I'd be like, "Oh, I want to put this in a book," and then go into my notes on my phone, or I write it down, or I do something, and then it sits there. And every so often, I start going through my notes and seeing like, "Oh, well, I wrote this. I wonder if I can fit this into a story now, or into the story that I'm writing right now, or poetry, or something like that." And then it just kind of grows from there. Honestly, it just I don't know how to else to just kind of explain it. It just comes to me, and then I have to do it right then and there. It drives me crazy. I can't not write it down or
I'm like,
put it in my phone.
I have to do it like right then and there. One, I'll forget.
Yes.
Yes, most of the time I'll forget. Yes. But other than that, I mean, and honestly, I can write something down and I'll read it, and then I read it again and again and again, and I don't like it. So then I change it 15 times before I'm happy with it, and then I end up going back to what I originally wrote. So, I mean, it is a process because it's kind of nerve-wracking, and so I always just want to make sure I'm using the right words or things like that. That I was like, is there a more descriptive word I could use? And then I scribble and then, rewrite it. It's like, no, I don't like that one. And then I go back to the normal one. So it's a lot. Really.
Yeah, I would not want to be the one to proofread your stuff. I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. I used to use the red and then scratched off and move this here. And, okay, I'll leave that to Sarah.
Thankfully, the technology now it's very easy to just hit the backspace button. So there's not a bunch of red marks anymore.
We have things like Grammarly and stuff like that. Like nobody really worries about that anymore. And I feel like, I'm a person that took AP English, in high school. So, I was drilled in the importance of grammar, because without grammar, like you don't know how a story is being told, right? With like the periods and the
Right.
commas and, so then, because a lot of people, like when they see that, exclamation point or whatever, they're not reading it how it's meant to be read, and
Yeah.
something that I learned and
Grammar definitely does that.
yeah. So
It tells you how you're
That's-
supposed to feel.
let me look at this.
Grammar is what tells you, or is what to show you how you feel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
basically. I mean, because I feel like, you really do got to have talent to be able to grab certain words and, put them on a page, and somebody can read those words and literally just paint an exact picture of what it is that you're describing. Like I've read certain books
Mhm.
where it's like, man, like the way they describe this, like I can feel it, I can taste it, so I can hear it. It's like you're there. So, I am a
It's
reader.
vibrant.
I enjoy reading a lot. So, and so does Maria. Maria Medusa's huge reader. So we will talk about the book club after, because we're focused on Sarahbear.
Commercials.
Right. On the commercial break, but we do have that. So yeah, so I did want to ask you this though, because I was thinking about this, the themes that, for your books and for your novels or for your songs that you're writing, poetry, what is the type of theme or genre you normally like to go towards? Like, what's your favorite? Like, when you're like, when you're like about to write something and, you're like, like, oh, I can't wait to write this down. Like, what type of genre is it? Like, is it crime? Is it mystery? Is it naughty, spicy? What is it?
Dark romance.
Whatever it is. I don't know. All I know is it like 50 Shades of Grey? That's all. So,
Currently the book that I am writing right now is dark romance. It's a little spicy. I don't have a specific genre. Poetry, songs, it's, breakups, hurt, love, anything, any type of those emotions. I'm not particular. It's just what I feel.
what you're feeling at the moment.
Yeah. With the exception of the spicy book, I mean, I'm not feeling that way 24/7. But and it's frustrating
Good little just
because I wish I had more time.
Closure right there.
Little disclaimer.
But when I have time, I do. I like to write, and I'm struggling finding the time right now. With my life is a little hectic, but it'll get there. It'll finish.
Yes.
Move on, and maybe it might be a love story.
It's a twist.
One of your characters.
I'm gonna have you sign a little waiver first, but sure.
Sure, I'll sign a waiver. It's not good.
anything said in this book cannot be used against Sarahbear. Anyone meant legal.
It's gonna be a book of nothing but slander.
You're gonna have to release your name too, so you gotta sign that paperwork because ain't no royalties happening.
No royalties. She said, I am making all of the money, girls. You are just gonna be mentioned in the book. That's all you're getting. I'm good enough with that.
Your
Maybe
name's gonna be Carl.
She's not even giving me my whole name.
Carl. Hey, that was my name.
No,
Sarah,
Carl.
making up my name.
Oh my God.
Well, now in my book, Medusa, you're going to be
Carla. Yes.
She's like, damn, I like that. Okay, she's like dropping the antagonist, protagonist, like you're this, you're that. I like it. I like it, Sarahbear.
Carl over here is gonna be the villain, just so you know.
Nobody likes Carl.
I'll be the villain.
Jorge's like, I'll be Pedro.
Damn it, Carl.
Pedro.
You can be Pedro.
So, Sarahbear, would you say that you are consistently like evolving in your writing? Is there anything that you do to like get better? Like how athletes do when they play sports, they train and stuff like that. Is there anything that you do to make yourself better? Like, do you read a dictionary or something?
I have read the thesaurus. I do use that a lot.
Okay.
It helps. Character development is a lot easier now than it used to be. I don't know if it's, just with age or being more comfortable in my own skin and things like that. But, like even the story developments come a lot easier than they used to be for me. And then, with the songs and stuff, they're more emotional, but I feel like they're more relatable now than they were before. Like when you're a teenager and you have visions of unrealistic,
Right. You're like naive to love.
things aren't really like that. But yeah. So I think like as I matured, my writing as my expansion of my vocabulary has grown. A lot of things it's just easier now than
Yeah.
it used to be.
So like, of course, writing is obviously like your go-to release, like if you're feeling, I'm guessing any type of way, whether it be frustrated or happy or sad or angry, or, anything, it's like you take that and you're able to transmute it or create something and basically, create a work of art, because I consider writing a work of art, just like a painting or a sculptor and stuff like that. In my opinion, I feel like that's what you're doing from what I can see, which I think, it's a very, it's like you're tapping into your artistic side, and a lot of people have that today, but I feel like they don't know. Like I've met so many people who sketch, who draw, who freestyle, who make songs, but, they think that nobody's going to relate to them, like their stuff. And, do you have any advice on that, Sarah Bear? Like people who have a passion, with writing, but afraid to get their stuff out there. Like, do you have any advice for those people?
Just do it.
Nike.
Because you'll never get over it.
Trademark.
Nike.
You just have to do it. You have to like step outside of your comfort zone. You're never going to get anywhere if you still stay in this little tiny box. If you have a voice, the best way to get it out there is to write about it. And I think that people are so scared because people are so skeptic nowadays. There's a lot of negativity that comes with, being vulnerable. And that's basically what you're doing when you're writing. You're vulnerable. It's in your head. It's a part of you. And that's the hardest part, is getting over letting people see it. But once they do that, they're not going to worry about who hates it, who loves it, because it's going to be real and it's going to be you. It's going to be a part of you. And you're just going to accept it. People are nasty and mean in this world for no reason, especially on the internet. Don't read too much into that, because it doesn't matter, because you're the one that is putting yourself out there. You're the one that's going to relate to someone.
That's right.
Someone's going to need to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
So I have a question for you, Sarah Bear. So you say you put your feelings and your emotions into the book, and then you're afraid of writing it sometimes because of the fact that others are going to read it. Once that book that you're writing gets published, how will you react towards the feedbacks you were going to get from that book?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I don't know if it's going to affect me in any type of negative way. I believe that the positive feedback that I get is going to outweigh the negative. So as long as somebody might say something awful about my book, but somebody loved it. This person loved it. This person liked it too. So
You know what?
I don't think I'm going to be...
Is good publicity, like I was saying to them earlier. If people are talking bad about you, they're still talking about you. So they're still increasing your likes, they're still increasing your views, that still increases sales.
And I'm the one getting paid for it. You're sitting at home not getting paid for it. My $100.
I like that, Sarah. I like that. She said, I'll just wipe my tears with my...
Get my tissue, $100 tissue.
I like that. But
I do have a question. Have you had any published yet? Is there anything that's out there published?
I have not published.
Okay, so big things
Um,
come still.
great things to
I'm
come.
not sure if I can call it like published or anything, but there were some like online forums that have some short stories of mine on a couple. I didn't make any money off of it or anything like that, but there are a couple out there, but
I like that.
nothing like major. This was a long time.
The things we see within others are often the things we are refusing to see within ourselves.
Yes, Jim.
It's one thing that, if you are a person who has been on our podcast and you've heard our previous podcast, we repeat it over and over again. If you want to evolve and become a better version of yourself, you need to remove yourself from that comfort. You got to get uncomfortable. You got to jump in there and, just like how Sarah said, just do it. If it doesn't matter if you're scared, your knees are buckling, you're sweating, just do it. Just go, just do it. Just like how us, and it's cool how Sarah, we're doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Even with this podcast, we're like, we don't know what's going to happen, but who cares? You know what I'm saying? We're just going to do it. We're going to put our energy out there. We're going to put it out there. And like how Miss Sarah Jane says, whatever publicity we get, good or bad, guess what? We love it, and we love you guys. It's all good. So
Your bills and puts money in your account.
gets you places.
Yes.
So don't be afraid, guys. Like, go ahead and just do it. I really hope Nike watches this podcast. Just do it.
Honestly, I've never seen anybody regret. I've never seen anybody regret really putting something they care about out there. The
Right.
worst that's going to happen is they're going to be like, yeah, well, it didn't work, but they don't regret it.
Right. Yeah, you're 100% correct, Sarah Bear. And even the other guests that we've had and other people that we've spoken to, they give the same feedback. They literally say that, like,
Thank you.
not until I believed in myself did things actually start to change. It's just, that's what it is, guys. You've got to get uncomfortable. You got to take them risks. So,
people don't have like supportive communities either too. So if you have like a little voice or a little friend going, nah, you shouldn't do this, and you have the wrong friends around you.
Yeah, most
Yes.
For me personally, having the supportive community is what really pushed
You
through
definitely have to
everything.
surround yourself with people.
Yes. Well, and especially for you as a
Yes.
writer,
Mhm.
you need people who are also doing that. And then, it gets you motivated, it gets you pumped. It's like them with the podcast. Every episode, we're all pumped. And it's like we feed off each other's energy. Like individuals and the hustlers and entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
It's amazing what that energy creates.
You also need somebody that's going to be honest with you.
100%.
You need someone that's going to tell the truth.
Follow. Thank you for the motto.
Oh, don't steal the just do it. Nike will end up suing. They have that patent, just so you know. Those
Oh, yeah, I know that is very trademark and marketing. Okay. So, Sarahbear,
Just.
we want to know favorite books, favorite authors. So, go.
Kind of a romantic at heart. I mean, I do, I like the Jane Austen, Laura Roberts, things like that, but I'm also a huge fan of like Harry Potter and Tom Clancy and Stephen King. So the variety of like, it's everything. I just like to read. So
We just became best friends.
don't really have any type of like inspiration based on a single author. Yes, finally.
She said Harry Potter. I'm like, oh, JK. Oh, you're a JK fan. Oh, God. Repeat it one more time, I think, Sarah.
Have you ever experienced like a writer's block in any of your creation?
Hear you. I think my connection is breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, but we still hear you. It's still lingering there by a thread, but you fire away. Sarah, can you repeat your question again?
Have you ever experienced a writer's block with anything that you've created?
I have. It does happen. It happens more often than I'd like to admit. But I mean, you just can't help it. I think that for me, it's like you get too many ideas and you get too many ways that you can come up with how the story's going to play out or the way the character's going to develop or like the major things that happen and you build a lot. Oh no, I hope her service and that comes in. It's because you're very unsure about which way your story's going to go.
Okay, that makes sense.
You didn't hear me?
We
Yes,
did
yes.
hear you,
Yeah.
but you cut off just a little bit, but we did hear the majority of what you said. So we did hear you.
Okay.
I just want to make sure, but let's just keep going. Let's not worry about the signal and stuff. Let's just, if you can hear us, Sarah, just keep going. Sarahbear, if you hear us, let's just keep going. I know that you're in the middle of something. Now, Sarah, I know that you had mentioned this one time when we were on live and I was listening to you and forgive me, if this is a sensitive topic, but it was something that was pretty like touching to me because you were talking about what you were going through with your mother. I heard that and I heard how difficult that was for you, because you had mentioned that, I think you said that she had like dementia or like she wasn't herself anymore, like before she actually passed and that you had to like deal with that, like did you use writing in any way to like help you get through that, through that very rough moment in your life?
That I did not. I couldn't bring myself to do anything. Honestly, I was grieving my mother long before she was gone. She did have dementia. She did have congestive heart failure and she didn't know who I was. And it was very hard for me to come to terms with that. I don't know so much if I'm ready to write about that. I don't know if I'm ready to like, really put that into words, on actual paper yet. Because I don't really know how to feel. I'm kind of conflicted because I do miss my mom and I'm sad that she's not here anymore, but I'm also really relieved that she's not suffering. And I struggle with feeling guilt about feeling relief. And so I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll ever write about her. I don't know if I'll ever find the words for that. I don't even know if I'll ever forgive myself for feeling the way that I do. But maybe one day I can write it down and I can share my experience. But for right now, no, I haven't done that yet.
Like even if it was to be like just for yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like not to
publish it or anything like that. Just
not to publish or for anybody to read, but just like do you still think it would be difficult just to like even writing about like you just don't want to touch it, like you just want to just leave it, right?
Or does the paper to pen make it?
I thought about it. It does. I think that is kind of my issue is that it does make it really real. I don't think that I'm ready to really feel how I feel about it. Eventually, maybe, I can fight through that and work it out. But for right now, you know, I think I just need to grieve her before I do anything else. It's very recent. I mean, she passed away in June, so it hasn't really been that long. So,
Right.
So sorry, Sarah. No, take your time. That can, you know, I don't
thank you.
really get over things. I think we learn how to live with it. So I'm so sorry, Sarah.
Yes.
I can understand why you don't want to write about
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's still
Yeah.
fresh. Still fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still fresh, and how Sarah said, you know, writing it down can sometimes make it so real because it's like, you know, you're putting your energy into it. You feel me? So like,
I like to songwrite. So like I didn't write a song about my brother that OD'd until 6 years after he passed because it's same as her. Like I feel that because as soon as you put it pen to paper, it's like, whoa, this happened. Like this is now, and it just, I don't know, it just feels like it hurts more when it's like black and white right in your face like that. Whereas when you don't focus on it, it's like you can kind of forget about it even though you don't emotionally.
right.
Yeah, because once you're done writing, then you're like, okay, it's done. Now what?
Well, then you're just
It's
rereading
kind of
it.
like pouring. Yeah. It's very final, but it also feels
Yes.
like very much like salt in a wound.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to just keep ripping that wound open until, you know, let it heal, let it until you're ready. I can't say that I'll never write about my mom, but right now I can't. I need to just take a break from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a break
What do you think
and
about
you know.
It's
So
good
as a
to process it how you feel you need to.
yeah, certainly. So
As far as like the writing and stuff, it's not so much that I've taken a break. I haven't had a lot of spare time to do that. I've been pretty busy. I've been pretty I have a lot of things going on in my head that I need to separate, I guess I can say, and maybe after that I can pick it back up. I mean, I still do write a little bit here and there, but it's not to the extent that I was. It's not even close to, you know, it seems like the book that I'm writing now I don't see an end in sight right now. Like I used to be able to, you know, be like, I'll be done in a couple months. I'll be done, you know, 3 months. I'll be done with this. And I can't say that right now. So once I get
so
all my
that's like a
ducks in a row, I think
well, Sarah,
it'll get there
yeah,
eventually.
Girl, just baby steps. You'll get there.
yeah, and you're a part of this family now. So, you know, if you need any of us,
Yes.
we're here for you. If you need somebody to bug you every day, guess what? We're here. We can bug you and call you and annoy you. And yes, so you're not alone. We're always here. You're a part of the family. And I'm so glad that you came onto the podcast. I know, you know, what you're going through, and I know that it's a lot. You know, you're such a inspiration for, you know, still coming onto the podcast. You know, like I was kind of like, let me see. But, you know, when you said like, yeah, I'd be willing to do that, I was like, damn, that girl's strong. I was like, all right, bet. I was like, cool. So, you know, Sarahbear, without you even knowing, you are inspiring other people. So keep going, elevating, heal. But we're here for you. Please
Please
know
keep doing your writing. Please keep doing that because you are beautifully spoken and your
that.
words. In your
Yeah.
time, don't rush. Like healing is healing. I'm big on that too. Like I've taken years to heal before, and it's everybody wants using their
I'm dragged here.
But me, sometimes everything gets too much. When you've gone through some extreme big T shit, you
I'm
sometimes
not laughing at you. I'm remembering how it was for me, like dragging myself. Yeah, I know exactly.
in process. Everybody's got to heal in their way.
Their own way, their own time.
But this is why we like to do the podcast, and this is why I like to put, you know, people that I see, especially people who show how strong they are, how loving they are, how caring they are. And, you know, a lot of people would think like, you know, why would anybody want me on a podcast, or why would anybody want to hear my story and stuff like that? But guess what, everybody? We all have a story that needs to be heard. So, you know, and I've learned that by hearing other people's stories. I've been inspired. I've been, you know, grateful for what I have. So many things. So, you know, at the end of the day, this is what we like. You know, Sarahbear, you know, I think this podcast, this episode is a success. because you have shown us that we can still be strong and we can still hold our head up high even when life, tries to knock us down and we go through, the ups and downs of life. But we got to keep going, right? We got to keep going. We got to keep moving, and just like how Miss Sarah Jane said, like, please don't stop writing. We eventually want to pull something from the shelf at Barnes and Noble and be like, oh shit, this is our Sarahbear who done wrote this amazing ass book.
Yes.
Your bestseller. Holy moly.
Honestly, though, that's what we dream and aspire for you. But obviously, like, God is listening, God is watching, and everything happens in our own divine destiny.
And I have had my share of trauma. I've been dealing with a lot of that, and I've had a lot of that in my life, and a lot of hurt and a lot of sadness. But I do feel like if none of that would have happened, I wouldn't have been able to express myself the way that I can now. And hopefully one day I can write about all of the trauma that I've had, and hopefully it'll help somebody. And that's just my main goal. I just want to help people.
That's a beautiful goal. That is an amazing goal. So we are going to keep pushing you. We're going to keep praying for you and hoping that you get through it. We're going to keep pushing you. We're going to give you that motivation. We're going to tell you we love you every single damn day, Sarahbear. So you can keep going. You can wake up and take on the day and conquer tomorrow and write us that New York bestseller. Okay. So,
And then
And I'm the first one to read it.
podcast after I have my bestseller, just so I can wipe my tears with all of my money.
Yes.
Thank
Just bring the money to the podcast and just sit there like,
Yes.
And shout out everybody that said anything negative.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Look at all the feedback. I'm telling
Yes.
you.
Go to the comments, guys.
I'm really looking forward to that day for you, Sarahbear. I love that. I love your energy. I love the light that you're shining out towards everyone after all the darkness you've experienced. I love this. I'm so grateful that you came on here. And I'm grateful that they got me to meet you. Without this community, we wouldn't have all met each other. Thank you.
And I appreciate all of you. You guys you've helped me more than you guys, I think, even realize. But I appreciate that.
Sarahbear.
Yeah.
I love you guys too.
This is beautiful. What kind of podcast? What other podcast? This much love floating around, guys. Like, this is all love. Like, this is what we do. This is what we inspire to do. This is what we want. We're going to show everybody these stories. We want to get these stories out. I'm pretty sure Sarah was probably like, who would want to listen to my story? Guess what? A lot of people want to hear it. So I'm pretty good at
I felt that way. I was like, who wants to hear this?
I know you, Sarah.
Wants to hear it, Sarahbear.
And I'm like, no, we all want to hear it. Get up here right now. And I'm so proud of you for coming up here, because we know that it wasn't easy for you to come up here and stuff like that. Guys, Sarahbear is very, to herself and very calm and collective. So, it wasn't all that easy for her to come up here. But just to show you guys, things can happen when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations. So she's uncomfortable, but look at what she's doing right now. She's inspiring other people. She's making me cry inside. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, get uncomfortable, guys.
Yes.
Get uncomfortable. Follow your dreams. Follow your passions. Like, we will say this over and over and over again every podcast. Like, we get it.
Don't fight
It's
the waves. Just ride the waves.
risky. Right.
Just like the one who has inspired me the most, Joe Dirt. He said, just keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Sarah Jane has that tattooed on her back.
Yeah, I actually have "Life is an Oyster, so shuck it, baby" tattooed.
I love that.
What's my saying? Life
Sarah Bear, she's like, I'm going to put that in a book.
Hollywood says, if you like it, steal it. I haven't patented it. It's open. I love saying that. Life's your oyster. Shuck it, baby.
Theme in my book is like, be Kara. You look out for that.
It's on the shuck it, baby. Sis on the shuck it.
That's adorable. See, I'm getting a tattoo this weekend, actually.
Of an oyster?
No, I'm off. I mean, I feel like since we're both Sarahs, we both with an H, that there's a secret like bond, Sarah Society over here. And I feel like I should probably get an oyster too.
I feel left out. I'm changing my name.
Deal.
I'm gonna have Queen Sarah.
Queen Sarah. She is a Queen Sarah.
You're selling Queen Sarah?
Hey,
Carlos, you can be Sarah too. That's fine.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I'm okay, Sarah. Thank you, love. Thank you.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
I was born in the dark.
Molded by it, shifted by it.
Traumatized
People in
by
the comments, if you guys have any questions for Sarahbear, just let us know. Or us, just let us know. Just write in the comments.
Oh yeah, let's open up questions now.
Yeah.
But I want to, so as a conclusion, right? Sarahbear, we thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. Really did love this episode because I knew how you felt about it. Like I knew you were like,
Hesitate about it, yes.
I'm so glad and so happy that you know, got on here. Like normally I feel like other hosts of podcasts, you know, they're looking for like the right person and the big person and the up and coming person, but I'm more about finding that person who's fighting that inner battle and still like winning that fight. So I was like, yeah, let me get Sarahbear up in here. Like I want to even show you what an inspiration you are. And I hope that's what you got tonight. So
I did. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for
of
having
course.
me.
Carl.
Anytime, anytime.
Yeah, and Carl
Oh,
and
thank
Kara
you.
and Carla.
What's all the C's?
It just came to me.
Go with it.
It's flowing.
So
So guys,
Sarahbear, for real. This was awesome. It was
we
so
love it.
know you in depth for your writing.
So Miss Sarah Jane, we're gonna let you do the outro for the podcast, just like how you did the intro.
I'm just kidding. Actually,
Just exit the building. Sorry.
cut off from the outro.
Whoa, hold on.
you're done.
Like a, you know how like you have like a.
Right, we need the
Done. And action.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on Three Legends podcast with our beautiful guest star, Sarah Bear. I hope you all had a fun time getting to know her. Make sure that you follow her on her socials to keep up because New York's bestseller might be right here.
So we appreciate you, Sarahbear, for being here.